Sairam, dear children, wish you a very good morning and I hope you all are well. Children, today we are going to start our new chapter, Effects of the British Rule in India. Now, British started ruling in India with the with their victory in Battle of Buxar. Okay, so how they affected Indian economy, Indian society, everything we are going to study in this chapter, and their effect on Indian agriculture. Okay, so let's start our chapter. India was economically prosperous till 18th century. The anarchy that followed the death of Aurangzeb too could not weaken it. It has been admitted by historians across the world that industries, production techniques, and the organization of trade in India were unmatched at that time. Okay, means Orang with the anarchy means a type of monarchical dictatorship rule. Okay, so Mughals were in the central power. So with the death of Aurangzeb, it was not destroyed fully, but it is carried out by his successors. Okay, so it has been admitted by the historians across the world. Okay, the historians all over the world to, written about the industries, production techniques, and organization in trade, and India were unmatched at that time. Even after the death of Aurangzeb, this line means even after the death of Aurangzeb, India was prosperous too. Its prosperity is unmatched as comparative to the rest of the world. It has lots of treasure now also. The same country, India, became poor, bankrupt during the 200 years of the British rule. But after these 200 of British rule, India became poor, okay, and bankrupt type of country. It became a country that supplied raw material to the factories in England and offered a large market for the finished products of factories in England, and it sells its raw material to the factories in England and offered them a large market to sell their finished product in England and make England prosperous by investing Indian money. Okay, this British has done, means our money they withdrawn from us and taken to their country, then earn more money by using our products. Okay, conditions of peasants during the British rule. Okay, so what was the condition of agriculture and peasants during the British rule? The British got a new opportunity to increase their income after the acquisition of Diwani rights. Diwani right means rights to collect land revenue. After the Battle of Buxar, they got the Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, and they started exploiting, torturing the peasants. Okay, yeah, and earn more revenues. And as a result, the peasants became poorer. Those who are poor become poorer, and those who are middle class become poor, and those who are rich they became middle class. Okay, by the harassment, by the exploitation, by earning more revenue. Okay, many times the peasants had to sell their jewelry to pay the revenue, and peasants had to sell their jewelry, they had to sell their land. Okay, everything they had to sell, that every property they have to sell to pay the revenue. A large number of peasants, those who are poor, they borrow money from the money lender. Consequently, they fell into the debt trap. Debt trap means ki debt on debt. Okay, means interest on interest they have to pay. If they suppose if any person has borrowed 100 rupees, then he is not able to pay back this money, and he has to pay interest plus money plus then more interest on the same interest. Means this is a debt trap. ऐसा उधार का जाल जिसमें से कभी कोई बाहर नहीं आ सकता. Farmers lost their land and agriculture suffered in many regions of India. And in this way farmers lost their land and agriculture suffered in India. Moreover, Bengal witnessed a terrible famine in the year of 1770. Means after the battle of Buxar, 6 years after the battle of Buxar, Bengal suffered a famine, drought. Okay, and lots of people died of starvation. Means भूख से बहुत सारे लोग मर गए थे. Governor General Lord Cornwallis enforced Permanent Settlement Act in order to collect revenue. And at that time, who was the Governor General? Lord Cornwallis, and he introduced an act, Permanent Settlement Act, in the agricultural system. As per this act, the company fixed the revenue on an annual basis, and company take the revenue or taxes on the annual basis, yearly basis. Okay, the zamindar landlords were given the permanent settlement, permanent rights of land, and the zamindar, or we can say that the landlords, were given the permanent rights of land and revenue collection. And now who will collect the revenues? The landlords, the zamindars from the peasants. Okay, this is how a landlord loyal to the company was created, and in this way the landlords are come under the company. Okay, this act also ensured the income of company. Now company's income is ensured because landlord, to protect their land, they will take revenue by exploiting the peasants by any of way, by harassing them. Okay, they will take revenue from them and pay to the government in order to save their land, or in order to earn commission in between. Okay, against this, the peasants who worked hard in the hot sun to cultivate the land, grow the crops, were exploited. And those, the hard worker peasants who are working hard in the hot sun, who cultivate land and grow crops, and they earn nothing, because everything they earn they have to pay in revenue. That much high revenue is government or British government asking from them. Okay, now Britishers trick, children understand the trick of Britishers. They directly not exploiting the peasants, only through the landlords. Mean Indian people are harassing Indians. Okay, Indians are exploiting Indians on the orders of Britishers. This scenario they created in our society. This is the way how they divide us in the middle class and upper class, in the lower class and the middle class. How they divided our society on the basis of money, on the basis of land. Okay, this is how the Britishers divided our society. And in future, in the further chapters, we are going to study how they divided us on the basis of religion also. So let's come to our next topic, effects on the social life. Warren Hastings, the person who was given the job of collecting revenue, was known as collector. Okay. He also performed the function of a judge. Warren Hastings performed the function of judge, and he is known as collector also because he is the person who was given the job of collecting revenue, and he is collecting the revenue from the landlords. The British system of administration destroyed our ancient system of self-rule, and this British system destroyed our ancient rules of society. Okay, in the ancient times, every village was like a small republic, and every village behaves like a small country, and Gram Panchayat handled the administration of the entire village. Now the Britishers are handling, now the panchayats are demolished, and the backbone of our country, self-rule of our countries are panchayat, and these institutions are totally destroyed by the invasion of Sultanate period and after the Britishers' policies. Okay. The policy of social reforms by the company made people feel insecure and suspicious, and these policies make the people feel insecure. They are feeling that they will be destroyed very soon. They felt that the government was trying to convert them into the Christianity and destroy the Indian culture and religion forever. Now people understand that the Britishers are trying to convert them into the Christians, and they are trying to destroy the Indian culture and religion forever. People believed that the Indian social system was deliberately undermined in the railway and military, and people believed, means people started thinking about that the Indian society system was undermined by the Britishers. Okay, undermined means कि उनको ऐसा लगने लग गया कि हमारे जो संस्कार हैं, हमारी इंडिया का जो कल्चर है, जो हमारे ट्रेडिशन है, उनको दबा के उनके ऊपर जो ब्रिटिशर्स हैं, जो अपने वेस्टर्नाइजेशन करना चाह रहे हैं, मॉडर्न कल्चर ला रहे हैं, उसके चमक में हमारा इंडियन सोसाइटी को वो क्या कर रहे हैं, ख़त्म कर रहे हैं. An order was passed in Agra that every Indian had to salute the British. And in Agra, what they ordered, that every Indian will salute the Britisher. If it was not done, it was considered a crime and a liable for the punishment, and they will punish who will not salute the Britisher. As a result, there was a widespread sentiment of anger and hatred for the Britishers among the Indian, and now Indians started hating the Britishers because why? They would salute the Britishers. Why? Are the Britishers are king? No. Why Indians have to salute the Britishers? All this feeling of anger is spread under the Indians, among the Indians, and they started hating Britishers. Destruction of Indian trade and industries. Now in this topic we are going to study, children, that how Britishers destroyed Indian trades and industries. Okay. Indian handloom trade was very famous around the markets of Asia and Europe. And what Britishers has done, children? They has taken all the raw material of jute, silk, woolen and cotton textile in the European markets, and they make they use the soft and delicate muslin of Dhaka and everything that our specialty, our Indian specialties, even our spices, salt, black pepper, everything they has taken from India at a cheap prices. They purchase from us at cheap prices, very cheap prices, without paying any kind of tax, and they took the raw material to the Europe and in Britain, and they in factories they make the finished products, and at a very high rate they sell it all around the world. Even in India, at high taxes they sell their products, and they put taxes on the Indian commodity. Even Indians, those who are making their made in India products, they put charges on it. Okay, means कि इंडियंस जो इंडिया में ही कुछ बना रहे हैं, जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज में कुछ बन रहा है, इंडियन जो प्रोडक्शन है उस पे इंडिया में ही टैक्स लग रहा है. इवन ब्रिटिशर्स जो इंग्लैंड से बना के ला रहे हैं उसके ऊपर कोई टैक्स नहीं है. तो ये सब जो उन्होंने हमारा जो इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन है, ये जो हमारा हैंडलूम है, इवन हमारा जो इंडियन ट्रेड है, इस तरीके से ब्रिटिशर्स ने क्या कर दिया था, पूरा डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया था. ओके, द होल सिनेरियो चेंज्ड एज द ब्रिटिश रूल वाज इम्प्लीमेंटेड एंड द फ्लो ऑफ बुलियन got reversed, and the flow of gold and silver, that we are trading in gold and silver. We are a rich country. India is known as the golden sphere. Okay, in the beginning of the industrial revolution, the Britishers took 500 crores as per today's standard only from Bengals during their range. Today's 500 crore rupees they are taking 1 days per, they are taken from the Bengal's revenue only. Okay, 500 crores rupees, children, near about 100 or 150 years back, they are taking from Bengal's rule only. Think how much we are wealthy, how much the Bengal was wealthy, how much money was in Bengal. Okay, how they harassed India, how they drawn all the wealth from the India. Okay, with the help of the raw material produced in India and the money collected from India, the business and industries, wait a minute, in England prospered. Means from India they collected money, from India they collected raw material and prosperous their business in England. Their mills started progressing. The cloth manufacture in England was imported in India without levying any duty and tax. As I told you, without duty and tax they are selling England product, importing England product in India, and put taxes on the cloth manufactured in India. Now 80% tax on the cloth manufactured in India to sell in India. This was totally unfair with Indian textile and Indian trade, and this is how they misused their power, and this is how the Britishers killed the Indian textile industry, the Indian glass industry, paper industry, mineral industry, shipbuilding industry, everything they have killed. Okay, now lakhs of skilled workers become unemployed due to the industrial revolution, due to the initiation of machineries. Okay, they destroyed the Indian handlooms. Okay, in this way they destroyed totally the trade of India and the industries of India. Suspicions about the reform. Now some गवर्नर जनरल फ्रॉम द ब्रिटेन ब्रिंग्स मैनी रिफॉर्म्स दैट आर सस्पिशियस, मीन्स जो कि डाउट में थे कि ये लोग जो रिफॉर्म कर रहे हैं क्यों कर रहे हैं. एक्चुअली दे आर चेंजिंग द सोशल society. Actually they are wanting to change society. Some reforms they did are good as per today's scenario, but some reforms they wanted to do to change the Indian culture into the Christian culture. Okay, so let's study about them. When William Bentinck came to India, liberal thinking was getting its stronghold in England. So where we was? Let me come. Okay. When William Bentinck came to India, he was in a stronghold position in England, and the way of thinking slowly reached India. This way of thinking slowly reached India means his thinking was liberal. He was not even supporting British policy, and he was not even supporting Indian policies. Okay, he was a reformer. Okay, the British rulers started taking interest in the lives of people of India. Now the Britishers want to change the lifestyles of Indians, and Lord William Bentinck became quite popular in India by introducing beneficial reform. And the William Bentinck was the only who did the reforms which was beneficial for the Indian. And during his time, Indians started getting jobs in company administration, and he gave jobs to the Indians in the company administration. Indians were allowed to use their mother tongue, okay, in the court of law. And now for the first times Indians are speaking in Hindi in front of court. Okay, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and the other special social reformers were constantly making efforts to stop the evil practice of sati. Bentinck agreed to these efforts and passed law in 1829 to ban the practice of sati. Sati was an evil practice in which the female has to die with the at the funeral of his husband. Okay, then with the help of William Bentinck, a law was passed in 1829, and the sati practice was banned. During the time of William Bentinck, the English rulers tried to eradicate the social evils as per the will of the social reformers. And at the time of William Bentinck, many English rulers are trying to reform the Indian society and to stop the evil practices. The orthodox class witnessed these reforms with suspicion, and the old class, the orthodox, those who are thinking that this is our culture, they are thinking the reforms with suspicions. Okay, means that these reforms are done to change the culture of India, but this was not harmful reforms. These reforms are in favor of India. And after that, many governor generals and many other British rulers came who did the reforms only for the sake of Britishers. Only the William Bentinck was the person who did the reforms in the Indian society that are beneficial till today. The company had passed a resolution to spend 1 lakh rupees every year on education, but it was not implemented. And company passed a resolution that company will spend. Now this time company has to spend 1 lakh rupees on education field, but it was not done. An education committee was formed during the time of Bentinck, and in 1834 Lord Macaulay thought of introducing English education in India. And in 1834 Lord Macaulay, okay, introduced English education in India. However, the education method was advocated by Macaulay could not benefit the youth, and the method was not beneficial for the youths, and Indians lost the advantage of acquiring the ancient knowledge and skills developed by their ancestors, and Indians not get chance to develop the knowledge and skills developed by their ancestor, means their great grandparents. The methods of British education system was opposed by a number of intellectuals, and Mahatma Gandhi called it to give millions a knowledge of English is to enslave them. And Mahatma Gandhi says that Britishers are trying to give them knowledge of English and make them their slave. Okay, and that by receiving English education we have enslaved the nation, and by getting English education our nation is enslaved of the English language. And later 3 universities were established in 1857. The Britishers could get educated workforce due to the introduction of English education, and later they established 3 universities. Okay, and these are English university, and they are introducing English education, spreading English education all over the India, and along its side developed the nationalistic thinking among the educated Indians, and with this nationalistic feeling amongst the Indians spread, that our nationality and our national language should be promoted. Many machines were invented to facilitate the industries, transport, communication, and considering the convenience in running administration and strategic importance of the military, and the Britishers introduced the railways in India. Now railways are introduced in 1853 by Lord Dalhousie. Okay, he introduced the railways for the first time in 1853. From Mumbai to Thane, first train was run. Okay, and many other machines were introduced for the making the industries and transport and communication facilities, like telegram, like railways. All these reforms of telegrams and railways and the machinery's introduction was only for the Britishers' welfare, not for Indians. Okay, so that they can communicate with each other easily, so that they can transport their material easily, so that they can develop their industries easily. Okay, with this our chapter is almost completed, and the first railway, here it is written, in Mumbai to Thane 1853. In order to maintain an effective control on country, the exchange messages with the neighboring territories, methods of post and telegraph was introduced in 1854. The same person, Lord Dalhousie, introduced the post and telegraph method to make the control effective in from one country to another country, from one territory to another territory. They can easily send their post and telegraph. Printing press and circulation of newspaper grew alongside, and this printing press and newspaper give a fire to the Indian nationalism. And with the help of newspaper and the printing press, they spread the feeling of nationalism in India. The nationalists of Indians are spreading a nationalistic feeling all over the India. Okay, thus the reforms were actually for the convenience of British rule in India, but it turned out to be a blessing. It disguised for the growth of nationalism in India. किया ब्रिटिशर्स ने अपने बेनिफिट के लिए था, लेकिन ये कैसे ना कैसे इंडिया के लिए एक आशीर्वाद बन गया, और लोगों में नेशनलिज्म की फीलिंग जो है वो और ज़्यादा तेज़ी से बढ़ गई थ्रू न्यूज़पेपर, थ्रू प्रिंटिंग मीडिया. ओके, थ्रू telegram. People are connected with each other. Telegraph. Okay, they are connected with each other, and they are sending messages to each other about the nationalism, and they are enforcing each other, or they are motivating each other to participate in the Indian freedom movement, and they are first convincing each other to make a freedom movement, and then to participate against the Britishers. The class that acquired the English education spread headed the social reforms and nationalism in India, since they were more familiar with the contemporary development in the world around, and those who are who are educated in English language are also those Indians who are English educated are also making helpful in these reforms, and spreading the nationalism, okay, in their own way. And the post and telegraph brought people closer, and people became closer. They can send their message easily by post and telegraph. So our chapter is completed. Now question answer I will send you, both discuss and exercise you have to write in your notebook. I will send you very soon. And in our next class we are going to do the next chapter, environmental changes. So bye children, take care, have a nice day. Sai Ram.